In today's video, we are going to be talking about King David in the Bible, in English version, so let's dive into it. So first of all, who is King David? King David was the second king of Israel after King Saul. He is best known for defeating Goliath, the giant from Gath. King David is also considered to be one of the greatest heroes in the Old Testament. David was born in Bethlehem in the tribe of Judah. His father was Jesse, a Beth, and his mother was named Ruth. David had several older brothers, but he was the youngest. From a young age, David was known as a shepherd and a musician. He played the lyre and composed songs. One day, when David was tending his father's sheep, he heard the sound of men approaching, and he hid among the rocks. An Israelite was approaching him, and that was Samuel, the prophet who came to anoint one of Jesse's sons to be king over Israel. Samuel anointed Eliab, the eldest son. But God said to him, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Then Jesse presented Abner, and Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this man." And Jesse presented another and said, "Neither has the Lord chosen this one." So Jesse said to Samuel, "Have you finished? Look, there is still the youngest, and he is tending the sheep. The boy is just a stripling, and he is not of imposing appearance or very tall. Yet the Lord has said that he will not send from there, and when you come looking for him, you will find him among the sheep." So Samuel went out to find him, and when he had found him, he did anoint him in the presence of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. So David knew that God had made him king over Israel. But he didn't become king until 13 years later after King Saul's death. One time while David was out with his men fighting the Philistines, the Israelites had been pressed hard by the Philistines. They were completely demoralized because the Philistines had come to fight against them again. So they said to David, "How can we fight against the Philistines? They say that among them there is a champion, Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a helmet of brass on his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coast was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had a sword whose point came out of his hip, and 2 shields were fastened to his arms, and the spears were fastened to his sides, and the head of his spear was of bronze. Moreover, his spear had a weight of 300 shekels of bronze, and he had a shield made of bronze between his armor, all of which was made by the armorer, invading the Israelite camp and cursing them by their gods, saying, 'Why have you come to fight? Is it not a great army that you are against?' Surely the Philistines mocked the Israelites because they could not believe that Israel would engage them in battle. So David heard this. He was greatly displeased. He said to himself, 'Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that dares to defy the armies of the living God?' So David ran and stood before Eliab and said, 'What they have said to you, O men of Israel, concerning this uncircumcised Philistine, let him come to me, and let him come to me.' Then all the men of Israel and the officers said to David, 'See, this man says, I will fight with him myself.' But David said, 'No, my life shall not be. By the way, there is no one like him, in order that you may know that the Lord does not take pleasure in leaping and in the strength of men.' And it came to pass in the morning that early the Philistines came up to meet Israel into battle. And after they had met, they shot out and came on each other. It came to pass at the same time that David was ready to go out, and there he was, being seen by the men of Israel and by the men of Saul's, and he became known by them. Then David said to the men of Saul's, 'What they have said to you concerning me, I am the one. Now let there be a battle between me and this man, and let him come to me.' And the Philistines heard that day. And Goliath, being enraged, sent his challenge to Israel by the same messenger. And when the words of defiance were spoken to Israel, it came to pass that David heard them and sought them out. And he said to the messenger of the Philistines, 'Tell me, will he give me the girl to wife if I kill him?' When it was told the messenger of the Philistines, he returned to Goliath. Then David arose and went to meet the Philistine, and he was in his way. When he had called the Philistine and mocked him, the Philistine answered and cursed him by his gods. And the Philistine said, 'Am I a vagabond, that your face is vile? Who has despised me, that is vile? Who has despised me, that I should do as you have said?' Then David said to the Philistine, 'You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have challenged. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will smite you and cut off your head, and I will give your carcass to the birds of prey and to the beasts of the field.' So when the Philistine heard these words, he was afraid, and he said, 'Who are you? What have I done? What have I done that you should be against me?' David said, 'As for the Gittite, the living God of Israel, he despised you. He rejected you from being man, and he made you a Gittite.' Then David gained a great victory over the Philistine. So the men of Israel came after David, and they slew the Philistines and took their possessions. And when they looked, they said, 'Where is the lad? Where is the lad? Where is the lad? Where is David?' And there he was, standing among the posts, with a sling in his hand. He had slain the Philistine, taken his spear, and dipped it in the water, and pulled out the javelin from the Philistine's head, and gave it to the young man. And David said to the young man, "Give this to a girl to eat, and go and show yourself to be a man." So David slew Goliath, and he became a man of war, a mighty man of valor. And he was famous in all the land because of his exploits that he had done against the Philistines. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next video.